Hi, everybody, and welcome to Metaphysical Insights. Today, my guest is the wonderful Jackie Campbell. Jackie is an intuitive medium. She's works doing readings for people, and she communicates with animals. She also teaches. Um, she's been practicing in the field professionally for 8 years, I believe. And Jackie, welcome to Metaphysical Insights. It's wonderful to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. I met Jackie at the Port Gamble Ghost Conference, and Peter Orbea, the director, and also the town manager, said, "You have to meet Jackie. She's wonderful." And so I did, and she is, and we chatted, and here she is. Now, you're in California, is that right?
Yes, I'm in Orange County, California.
How have you been doing with all the fires out there?
Um, well, we live far away from the fires, so we
Okay,
live like 45 minutes away from the fires.
good.
But a lot of people lost their homes, and it was very tragic.
Yeah, my sister is in San Bernardino County, I think. She's close to whatever that northeastern area mountain range is.
Yeah,
It's like kind of a sheer cliff almost the way it looks. It's like you but
yeah,
on the few days where you can actually see 2 or 3 miles
yeah.
down there. Anyway, I digress. It's a part of my charm and my ADHD. Um, how did you get into the field and tell us exactly what an intuitive medium is?
Okay, so how I got into the field, I've had this since I was little.
Hmm.
I can sense spirits when I was little, and I can see them in my third eye. So third eye is like when you're seeing something, like you're seeing like a movie.
Right?
And so when I was little growing up, I sensed a lot of things that was just very unexplainable. Seeing shadows, seeing lights flicker, the um, doors closing on its own. And also my grandma had it as well. So when my grandma was growing up, she was very clairvoyant. So clairvoyant is she could see spirits in
Right.
general. She saw animals, she saw people, and she sensed them a lot. So as I was growing up with my grandma, she taught me a lot about the paranormal, and she taught
Okay.
me a lot about spirits. And that's how I became to be involved with the paranormal. Being an
Okay.
intuitive medium, um, I use my intuition a lot when I do readings. So I
Okay.
get intuition hints, I get intuition senses. So whenever I do readings for people, things come through intuition wise and intuitive. So when I started studying about the paranormal and I started taking classes about mediumship, I discovered that I was more intuitively
Okay.
receiving messages.
Okay. I can understand that. Now, how do you does that give you the opportunity well to for verification too?
Yes.
Okay.
So whenever I do readings, I trust my intuition, and
Uh-huh.
a lot of things will come clear knowing. So with clear knowing and clear cognitive, that's intuitive as well.
Okay. Now, you were lucky to have a grandmother that could talk to you and help you with all this growing up. How were your parents with it, and how did this kind of affect your life as a child?
Um, I had wonderful parents that supported me. My
Good.
mom is very intuitive too. She's very telepathic,
Hmm.
so she knows when things are going to happen. She can sense things almost all the time. And so my mom has it a little bit as well. So they were very, my dad was more of a very skeptic person
Okay.
because he came with a family background that didn't really believe in the paranormal. But
Right.
as he started being with my mom and me and my grandma, he learned to understand it more.
Okay, excellent. Now, did you work with kids your age and stuff and do things, or did you just keep that part of your life quiet?
Um, well, as a child growing up, I really didn't understand what I was seeing or what I was
Okay.
feeling. So I had to get help a lot with my grandma.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And if people have questions for Jackie, or for me, go ahead and write them into the comment section. As you see, I have the magic power to have them appear on the screen for all to see. And I send greetings, to everybody that says hello and all that. It's just that I don't break up the conversation to individually do that, but I'll we'll work on questions as we can fit them in. Um, so feel free. Um, Now, when you're working with people, do you do it all in person? Do you do phone? Do you
Um,
do?
I do it all in person, but I
Okay.
can do phone. I do normally do readings the third Saturday of the month at a crystal shop. So it's all one on one with a client. And there have been where it's been like one on one with readings on the phone.
Okay.
But it's
Very
easier
good.
with people sitting in front of you because you get the um, characteristics of the people, you get to know them, and you get the intuition feel.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Um, I like in person just for some ways, but yeah, I do a lot of readings. I do on video calls or something, and or I've done over the radio, things like that. So excellent. Um, ah, thank you. Um, but it's it's a fascinating field. Now,
Yeah.
how do people get a hold of you? Let's put this stuff out there first, so that it's there. And
So
um,
if you live in California, in Orange County area or LA County, you can always visit me at the Kindred Spirits in Claremont, California. And you can always,
okay, hey, in where?
uh, Claremont, California.
Claremont.
Yeah.
Okay,
And you can always schedule a reading with me, or you could take my mediumship gallery class, which is 7 to 8:30 every third Saturday of the month.
okay. Now, what is a gallery class? I do gallery readings, but I'm not familiar with that term.
So a mediumship gallery is a class that I created. So it's for people to come and talk about the paranormal and ask questions about the paranormal. And I teach about the paranormal. I teach how to receive messages from people from the afterlife.
Okay.
I talk a lot about spirit animals.
Hmm.
I talk a lot about pets from the afterlife. I teach them about all the clairs as far as clear sense, clear audio, clairvoyant, clear knowing. And we have the relation. Also, we build up a relationship between each other. And why I created this class is because I don't want people to be afraid of the paranormal. I
Okay.
want them to come to a class and ask questions about what they feel, what
Okay.
they see. And I just don't want them to like feel alone. So
Right.
that's why I created this class so people can come and join in like a circle. So it's a circle base where people can come and just have fun and relax and do um, exercises and games about the paranormal as well.
Okay. And some of that is involved with mediumship, and some of it is involved with just simply understanding what's going on in the
Yeah,
world that
I
a lot of people don't see.
yes, I teach a lot of mediumship with
Okay.
the um, medium circle,
Right.
mediumship.
Excellent. Let's see. Annette has a. Do you find your life being very small from your gifts, from what you pick up from people in everyday life?
Um, I feel like with my gifts, it's I feel like it's like a miracle having it
Okay.
because it's just a wonderful experience having it because I'm able to help people.
Okay. Yeah, I find it actually is very expanding of my life. Um, I
It
might be
helps me grow.
misunderstanding. Pardon me?
It helps me grow every day
Yeah. Well,
because
it may. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
because there's always something new
Right.
every day with the
Yeah.
paranormal.
Yeah. It's a little hard when you're not in the same room to. I don't try to talk over people, but sometimes it looks like somebody's done, and then it's just the way the delays and stuff are.
Yeah.
So excuse me. I never try to be rude. Um, yeah, I like because when I tune into it, then I can see so much more of what's around and the history, so many things that I find just open up the world a lot better, and well, other worlds as well. Um,
Yeah.
to go out on a limb. Anyway, anybody watching this show that's already knows me already knows I'm strange, so it's okay. I don't need to hide. So, um, now when you're working with animals, and not just pets, but because you work with wild animals too, right?
Yes. The spirit animals. Yeah.
Oh, spirit animals, not
Yeah.
wild animals. Okay, yeah. Now, how does that work for you?
So the spirit animals do involve with the wild animals because the spirit animals, the coyote is a
Hmm.
spirit animal. So
Right.
a coyote is a very unique wild animal. And how the spirit animals come to me, they come to me clairvoyant. So they come automatically in my mind. I can see them.
Okay.
Every spirit animal has a meaning in life. So with the coyote, it's all about not taking things so serious
Oh,
and being like a child again, living your childhood.
oh,
Um,
that's interesting because I don't think of that when I see a coyote.
yeah. But the coyote is very it's a mystery animal. So the other meaning of a coyote is discover your mystery in life, discover your secret, um,
Okay.
to open up, to not be so serious all the time. Also, the owl is a spirit animal as well. So the owl represents watch your surroundings, um, protect yourself,
Hmm.
um, make wise decisions, um, look out for things that are unexpected, look out
Okay.
for change, be comfortable with change because the owl is all about to to be comfortable with change. You're comfortable in yourself.
Right.
To even though you might have a hard decision to make, when you make that decision, you need to be comfortable with. You
Okay.
need to trust your intuition, trust
Right.
that you did the correct thing.
Okay.
So the owl is, comes up a lot with me because I see the owl a lot.
Okay. That's interesting. Now, when you're talking about trusting intuition and such, are you also combining that with actual knowledge
Yeah,
so that,
like
okay,
having faith. You know, it's like when you're having a hard day,
Hmm.
you know, it's all about like testing your patience, trusting that things will be okay at the end. Or,
Hmm.
when you have to make a tough decision, but then you
Hmm.
made a tough decision, trust that the change will come, but you have to have faith that everything will be okay at the end.
Okay, but do you also bring in the facts about the situation and facts about possible solutions and work with that with the intuition? That's
Yes,
what I'm asking. Yeah.
yeah, yes, I
Okay.
do that all the time. Mhm.
Okay, great. I just like to put that out for people too,
Yeah.
because sometimes people think they can rely completely with the intuitive pieces without looking at the actual facts in the
Oh,
ground.
yeah. Yeah, you have
And
to look at the facts as well.
yeah,
You have to weigh them in. Yeah.
yeah, great. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Um, how, when you're communicating with animals, how do you actually do the communication? How do you receive the information from them?
So I receive the animals a lot, and I sense them,
Hmm.
and I can clairvoyant see them.
Okay.
So when I'm doing a reading for someone, usually their animal will come through from the afterlife, like their dog or their cat,
Hmm.
and then I will describe what animal I'm seeing.
Okay.
And I will describe all the details of like what color the animal is, the height of the animal, if it's long hair or short hair. I will also describe like their personality characteristics. And
Okay.
then I will always ask the client if that resonates with you. Do you
Right.
understand that? And usually they will say yes or no.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to the wild animal parts, I always know it could be a spirit animal
Uh-huh.
because usually if I see like the owl or the wolf or the bear or even
Right.
like rabbit, it will come through a lot.
Okay. Now, what do the bears and the wolves and the rabbits mean?
So the wolf means to own your power, to
Okay.
own that you have self-confidence to do anything,
Okay.
to also have a boundary with things.
Uh-huh.
So the wolf is all about knowing how to feel with things. If something doesn't feel right, you don't have to do it. That's a boundary. If someone's bothering you or they have too much negativity,
Mm-hmm.
then it's your decision to decide if you want them in your life, in your
Mm-hmm.
circle. The wolf is all about taking charge with your actions,
Okay.
knowing how to be positive and straight as well. The wolf is all that they're in charge. You have to be a leader in your life. You have to have self-confidence to do things.
Okay.
And so that's why I like the wolf so much, is because the wolf always reminds me that I have to stay in power for me too.
Right. Yeah. And now, are these Native American traditions with these animals, or
Yes, so the coyote is
okay,
Native American animal,
right?
and the wolf is a Native American animal. So the Indians would use those a lot.
Okay. And so now, did you get your information about these animals from Native traditions? Is that
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I read up about them and stuff.
Okay. Very good. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Now, do you practice a lot just in everyday life?
Yeah.
I mean, your day job is in a rather public place, if I remember right,
Yeah.
which you can say if you wish or not. It's up to you.
Yeah. I do work at Disneyland.
Hmm.
So I'm a lead supervisor. And I do follow, a lot of I use my intuition a lot because I have
Okay.
to make a lot of decisions.
Okay.
So I have to listen to my intuition.
Okay. Very good. Now, do you pick up things from the people around you a lot? I mean, just the people that might be hanging around them.
Yes, because I am an empath. So
Okay.
being an empath, I pick up so many feelings.
Hmm.
And because, when you're an empath, you're going to pick up a lot of people's feelings
Right.
and a lot
Yeah.
of people's thoughts as well, because, they might not be feeling good that day or maybe something's going on in their life. So you could, empaths can pick up on that.
Okay. Now, do you feel like you get overwhelmed by all of that sometimes, or do you have it pretty well controlled?
Um, I do get overwhelmed at times, but I try to keep a balance and I have a
Okay.
boundary as well.
Okay. Now, how do you do that? How do you keep the balance?
So I keep a balance. So if things get really overwhelming with someone around me that might be not so happy or they're always negative, I kind of step back a little bit.
Hmm.
And sometimes I will like tell people that I work with that um I have to leave for just a moment and then come back. So I basically like will take deep breaths and try to center myself as quickly as I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know one of the things I work with a lot is helping people with filters and shields to turn down that influence. And I
Yes.
don't know if you do some of that too.
Well, I teach a lot about being an empath and
Okay.
having boundaries and like protecting your shield, protecting your body.
Great.
Yeah. Protecting
Excellent.
your energy.
Yeah. Because in a place like where you work, I can imagine you get a little of everything
Yes.
from, how much fun everybody's having to, um, oh my God, how am I going to pay this off of the credit card to, um,
Yeah.
you know, um,
And
the fights or the whatever else that happened.
I'm used to it now
Okay.
because I've worked there for so long. So it's
Hmm.
just it's a common everyday thing for me. It's
Okay.
like every day is different. So when I get up in the morning and I start my day, I always think positive and I think to myself, I'm going to have a good day, and whatever comes, I will do the best I can to solve that problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. That sounds great. It looks like it works well for you.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Now, what other kinds of things do you use your abilities for? Um, what I'm trying to ask, I guess, is where else does this take you, either in our physical realms or any other realms?
Well, I meditate a lot.
Okay.
So when I go into a meditate state, um, I usually can connect with the loved ones from the afterlife. I
Okay.
usually can see them.
Hmm.
Also, when I dream at nighttime, a lot of people come in my dreams
Okay.
and like past relatives that have passed on.
Hmm.
Um, so I like to meditate because I center myself.
Right. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Um, and do you get messages from them in your dreams?
Yes. So um, when you dream, a lot of people from the afterlife like to come in people's dreams
Okay.
because they know how to communicate with you easier. So a lot of
Right.
loved ones have came in my dreams a lot and like talked to me.
Okay. Excellent. Now, do they help you with your readings that you do for people?
Yes. So when I before I even do readings, I always like to bring in my angels and
Okay.
then bring in my spirit guide, and then I like to bring in the animals as well to protect me and help me through the reading.
Okay. Now, when you talk about angels, what is your definition of an angel? There are so many of them out there floating around.
So my definition of an angel is an angel that helps you through either a difficult time or when you're sick. And the angel that I use the most is Archangel Raphael,
Okay.
because Archangel Raphael is the healing angel. He's the one that will protect your energy always and
Hmm.
protect you. And he's just always around me.
Okay.
Yeah. And I bring him through a lot through the readings because he protects my outer corner, my shield, and he also could protect my aura, my whole my
Okay.
mental state as well.
Okay. That's very interesting. Yeah. Um, now, there's so many other areas that can be involved in all of this. From my own experience, and that's part of what I love about what I do. I'm a little bit more selfish than most people. Everybody says they love being able to do this work because they like to help people. And yes, I love helping people. And when I do, it's wonderful. And I'm very grateful for that. But mostly, like to, I'm so grateful for doing this because it gives me a chance to go so many other places
Mhm.
to all kinds of other beings.
Yes.
And including Bigfoot and stuff like that. Now, have you used it along these ways?
I'm sorry?
Have you used your abilities to explore the possibility of the Fae or Crypt or Bigfoot or whatever? I mean, I'm a physical person or a very skeptical person. I have to have seen something with my own eyes that cannot be explained away any other way before I believe it's something paranormal or different or whatever. Um, and so I was just wondering if you've worked in that area at all. And
I've never worked with Bigfoot.
uh huh,
Um, I've always worked with spirits and
hmm,
ghosts.
hmm,
So I can give you an example.
okay,
Whenever I go on the Queen Mary,
uh huh,
I have to use like EVP equipment,
uh huh,
like Spirit Box,
okay,
which I have on my phone. So when I use the Spirit Box, it's like um, using like a paranormal item because it
uh huh,
catches the voices,
okay,
and you can ask the spirit like how they're doing, who's here, how many children are on the ship, how many people are here at the moment. But
okay,
as far as the Bigfoot, I encountered Bigfoot before, but I have heard many guest speakers in paranormal expos,
right.
And most of the conferences that have mentioned Bigfoot when they go visit, like Washington, uh, Colorado, the Sierra Mountains, and a lot of people have written about Bigfoot as well.
Yeah.
I've
I
just
live about, oh,
encountered one.
yeah. I
Yeah.
live 20 miles from one of the more active Bigfoot areas around and about 50 miles from one of the main sighting or experience places in the country for him. And I saw him,
You saw Big.
um, yeah, oh, in a location about an hour and a half from where I live. Um, I'm sworn to secrecy as to where that is.
Oh, okay.
For good reason. Well, they don't want to be found.
They
They
don't.
don't want people around because they know what's going to happen. They
Yeah.
don't want to become a trophy on somebody's wall or in a zoo. Um,
And
eh,
I do believe that Bigfoot is very secretive animal. You know,
what kind?
they're very they like to stay
Oh,
with themselves.
exactly. Hmm.
I don't think they like to be around a lot of people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's part of why I was so grateful for the one that I saw letting me see him because I know how secretive they are.
Yeah.
I mean that way, and I know he let me see him on purpose.
Yeah.
You know, he was strutting for me to see him,
Yeah.
um, and um, and that felt good that he trusted me and wanted me to know that no, my my communications and everything weren't crazy or my imagination
Yeah. Hmm.
because I've been working, doing quite a bit actually, including on that day, telepathically with them,
Yeah.
and I I couldn't say that what I was getting was absolutely real unless I could actually see one to know that they actually existed
Yeah.
for sure.
Hmm.
Because that's just the way I work. But uh, well, that's great. But what about any of the other mythical beings? Do you work with that at all?
Not really. Because
Okay.
I've never seen them before. I've
Yeah.
never seen like Bigfoot or fairies.
Hmm.
Um, I've only seen spirits.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's pretty common. Um, I used to think people that said they saw the Fae um, were smoking the wrong stuff or something, sometimes until I saw them. And then I thought, oh, yeah, I guess they do work. They
Yeah.
are real. But again, they're mostly interdimensional beings. And so they're in and out.
Yes.
And um, several years ago, I started thinking, well, maybe there's something to these legends more
Yeah.
than just keeping people out of the woods so they don't get lost or
Hmm.
eaten by a bear or something.
Yeah.
And because of even science was putting together the concept of parallel universes and different dimensions. And
And I've also heard that they've saved people.
yeah, I've heard that.
Like
Um,
the Bigfoot have saved people from
okay,
going the wrong direction and from not getting lost in the woods.
yeah. I have a friend that's an archaeologist by trade, and he's done a lot of work in Eastern Oregon, but also up in the mountains, and had a lot of experiences that um, indicated they were there, and then talking to, because a lot of this was in tribal areas and sometimes
Yeah,
working for the tribes, finding, oh yeah, they're they're there, they're part of the community in a sense.
yeah,
So um, no fear of them, just
here.
respect. Just give them respect,
Yeah,
and yeah, that makes sense to me. I want respect. Why wouldn't I give it to somebody else just because
yeah,
they have more hair than I do? Um, you know, so yeah, because they're very human in a lot
yeah,
of ways. Um,
they are.
I don't mean to
They have
insult
all
them.
the characteristics.
Right. Hmm.
Yeah.
So, what's your favorite piece about the work and what you do?
My favorite piece is that I, of course, helping people, making a difference in people, like changing their life.
Okay.
When I'm an intuitive medium, I also help them with mental health
What
and
kind of health?
mental health.
Okay.
Like, um, if someone's depressed or sad
Hmm.
or they feel stuck, I help
Uh-huh.
them during a reading. I show them different paths that they can take.
Okay.
I show them how to better their mental state and their mental health by giving them helpful tools, helpful sources as well. And also, what I really love about this work is that I can trust on the spirit
Okay. Now, where
because
do you? Oh, go ahead.
because spirits are, you know, they trust me too.
Uh huh.
So they trust that I can identify them and describe them and describe their personality. So
Okay.
when spirits have my back, I have their back.
That's very good and frankly quite appropriate.
Yeah.
Now, where do you get the tools that you give them with the
So
mental health?
I talk about a lot about strategies of how to help with your mental health. One strategy I talk about is to read inspirational books
Okay.
or listen to inspirational broadcasts on
Hmm.
Spotify. I also help them how to relax during the day, like take deep breaths, um, talk to someone if you need to see a counselor.
Hmm.
Um, I talk to them about how to, just relax at the end of the night,
Hmm.
by taking a bath, reading a book, listening to your favorite music, or watching a funny movie,
Hmm.
or watching a funny comedy show. But when someone is depressed or sad, I always offer them that they should talk to a counselor.
Okay. That's good advice. I've I've had I've had entities come through and tell my clients to go see a doctor
Yeah,
or a therapist. Um, and I'm a firm believer in that. It has to be the right therapist. It has to
yeah.
be a good one that's a good fit. But
A lot of
um,
a lot of therapists does help with mental health.
mhm.
So I always tell them that, you're not alone. You
Right.
can do
Yep.
I give them confidence.
Okay. Very good. Um, what else do you do with your gifts? Do you have anything else kind of that you're experimenting with, that
Um,
you're playing with?
I also do the card reading.
Oh, the
So I
tarot?
read with oracle cards with the
Oh,
spirit animals.
okay.
And I also do that when I do readings as well, if they want like a simple card reading.
Uh-huh.
I also do moonology card reading with the moons and the stars and like the astrology.
Okay.
Because I always do card reading when people want to know like what career they would like to go to, or how my life's going to be in like three months or 6 months, or if they just want to know something like why is it why do I feel so stuck. A
Hmm.
card oracle card reading is helpful to help people through situations. It
Now,
gives them answers.
how do oracle cards work?
So oracle cards work by solving problems and solving like decision making.
But how do they do that? I guess is what I'm trying to get to.
When I do oracle card reading, I always do it with the animals.
Okay.
So I usually will pick three to two cards, and
Uh-huh.
then whatever the animal's message is, I will let the client know.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah. It's interesting. I haven't worked with them before, so
Yeah,
um
I love working with the oracle cards because it helps me have a better reading.
okay. Yeah, very good. Um I'm trying to think what other kinds of things that you might be working with this. Now, do you put this into some of your personal, just recreational life, your travel life, things like that?
Yeah. So when I go to on vacation
Uh-huh.
and I'm about to go on a plane, I bring in my spirit guides
Okay.
and my angels and my spirit animals to help me protect me through the flight.
Okay.
And then also when I travel alone, like when I traveled up to go to the Port Gamble conference,
Uh-huh.
which was a wonderful experience. I used a lot of my guides
Okay.
to help me get there because
Okay.
I had no idea how to get there in the first place. And so I had to use a lot of my intuition.
Uh-huh.
Um, uh, and I just had to have help with my guides to just help me get to where I'm supposed to be.
Okay. Now, did you drive from the airport?
I rented a car
Yeah, that's
and
what I was wondering.
I drove to the airport to my hotel,
Okay.
and it took literally an hour and a half.
Oh yeah. The SeaTac isn't in Seattle,
Yes,
and driving Seattle's a long ways from Port Gamble. It's very close if you could swim across the sound,
yeah.
but it isn't. They do have ferries.
But I
There
was
are.
actually really nervous driving over there
You
because
were?
I didn't know where my hotel was, and I had to use a lot of my I had to use a lot of faith that I could go from part A to part B.
Right.
And so I'm so lucky I had the MapQuest
Right.
to guide me over there.
Oh yeah. I use it a lot too. I think we wound up staying at the same hotel, if I remember right. Bowles
Yeah.
Boeing. Yeah.
But it was a
And
wonderful hotel.
the which one?
The hotel was wonderful.
Oh yeah. Um, the people are great. It's perfectly comfortable, and the price is much better or is good. Um,
But driving from the hotel to Port Gamble, um, it really helped having MapQuest because I didn't know where Port Campbell was.
Mhm.
And so I was a little nervous driving there because I didn't want to get lost,
Right.
but had to, I had to make sure I brought my senses and my spirit guide around.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, did I find that um, Google Maps often likes to take through the back roads to get to
Yes.
Port Campbell, which
Mhm.
is beautiful, but there
Yeah.
are a couple of different ways to do that. So
Yes.
I'll use it the first time, the first day I'll use it to make sure I
Yeah.
remember correctly.
Mhm.
But if you take the road the hotel's on back the way you came up to the highway and hang a right, then you'll, I think it's Highway 3 still then you'll just go straight on into where
Yeah.
it is. But
Mhm.
so that's a direct way, but it's a little
Yeah.
bit longer. Um, for me, it depends a little bit too on weather because that road, the highway's a little better than going through the back roads as far as visibility if it's foggy or things like that.
But whenever I fly anywhere, even like when I flew to New York uh last year,
Mhm.
I always bring my I always carry an angel pin.
Oh,
And then I have a spirit animal like figurine, which is the
uh-huh.
elephant.
Which is
So
what?
the elephant.
Oh, okay.
So the elephant is a symbol of like protection, but it's
Mhm.
also a symbol of prosperity.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're like my protection. And then I also use a lot of crystals, and
Okay.
crystals protects me as well. You know, I
Uh-huh.
use a lot of amethyst.
Uh-huh.
Amethyst is a stone that um, protects you from negative energy.
Uh-huh.
Um, it's a prosperity stone, so it helps bring luck,
Okay.
and it's an inspirational stone as well.
Very good.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah,
Um, there are quite a few people up at Port Gamble that have quite a bit of experience in some of those areas. Often,
the
Karen Fraser has written books about the crystals and
yeah.
dreams and all kinds of things. Did you
Mhm.
get a chance to meet her and talk to her?
I think I did, and she's a
Okay.
wonderful lady.
Oh yes, she is. She's been a good friend for years, and we've kind of worked together on the paths sometimes. Um, and it's a wonderful conference because you get people there that are interested in being there and what
Yes.
there is to
Mhm.
learn and to hear
And you
and to
also meet different people.
right.
Yeah,
Hmm.
like their studies as well.
Yeah, and it's like with everywhere and anything. I mean, some people are, um, I can think, are a little bit more genuine
Mhm.
on what they're doing, and some a little less so. But
Yeah.
that's just my opinion sometimes. But it's in everything. It's in every field. It's in everything.
Mhm.
Um, but Pete and his staff do such a good job.
He's a wonderful man.
He is,
Yeah.
yeah. I've been lucky to have him for a friend for a number of years.
Yes.
A busy guy.
Yes, he's very busy.
Yeah, I call him the dictator of Port Campbell. He won't hear this, which is probably good for me, that he doesn't hear me say that. But
Yeah.
because he's the town manager. It's a company town. It's owned by a corporation still. It was
Yeah.
founded by Pope and Talbot as a company town,
Yeah.
and so um, it's just kind of funny.
And then a lot of, what you were talking about, what other things they do with the
Hmm.
paranormal.
Yeah.
I do talk about signs from the afterlife. I do presentations about that.
Signs from the afterlife?
Mhm.
Okay. Now,
Like
what kinds?
signs from the afterlife can be included, um, when you see different animals throughout the day, like butterflies.
Uh-huh.
Butterflies are always signs that your loved one's around,
Okay.
that change is coming to you, uh, and transformation.
Hmm.
Um, the dragonfly is all about trusting the spirits and that your loved ones are around as well. And also, I talk about signs from the afterlife when you find dimes and pennies.
Okay.
Like all of a sudden, like you walk in the room and then the dime will be there, or a penny will be somewhere that you least expect. That's a signs from the afterlife.
Okay.
Also, other signs from the afterlife is when you're dreaming of loved ones from the other side,
Uh-huh.
or when you see unexpected things in your vision that could like shadows, or um, you see like a blink of light, or
Right.
the lights flicker,
Uh-huh.
or the doors slant, or the doors shut all of a sudden.
There's
Um,
somebody there anyway, whether
yeah,
it's a relative or not.
and those are all signs from the afterlife. Also, when you go into a room and then you feel a chill, like a cold,
Right.
all of a sudden, and it's like a very hot day,
Right.
or you go to a paranormal site
Hmm.
and then you see things out of the corner of your eye. That's
Yeah.
signs from the afterlife.
Well, yeah, and what we're seeing is the wavelength of that case. We see our peripheral vision sees a different wavelength than our straight on vision
Yeah.
does. And so we're looking at beings that just don't appear in our straight on vision because the wavelength doesn't work for
Yes.
it, but that they do appear in the peripheral. Let me
Yes.
see. Where is it? I've got a perfect example of some of the sign from the afterlife, and it should be right here. Anyway, um, I had a 10 kopeck piece, that's a Russian coin, and I'd had a party, and the sofa in the study where people put their coats had nothing on it, and I had that verified. Um, and then after everybody took their coats off, there was a 10 kopeck piece there,
Yeah.
and I that's grandma.
Yeah.
She wasn't. She's German, but
Mm,
the family we'd lived in Russia for a couple hundred years before she and grandpa immigrated here. So we're
yeah.
German, but from the Russian area. And so that was grandma saying, "Yeah, I'm here."
Yeah.
Um, because and I have Russian money around the house because I've been to the family villages. So it's just having it show up where it wasn't.
Or
Um,
just or just hearing like your uh, a song will pop up
yep,
from someone that you've known for a long time and then they've passed away and now they're on the other side, but the song comes up.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Or you think of them all of a sudden and they
Hmm.
just pop in your head. That's
Hmm.
a sign from the afterlife.
Often, yeah. I'm not going to say it is always, but I think a lot of times it's them saying, "Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm here." So then it's very comforting for the most part.
And that's what I talk about when I do presentations.
Hmm.
I talk a lot about the signs from the afterlife because I want people to be aware of them
Hmm.
when they're going through their daily life.
Right. And, when you're asking relatives or loved ones to let you know when they're around, um, usually it's going to be something specific to that person, to
Yeah,
um, that, that loved one or that, and something that the client would know about as well.
yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
and that way, there's more of a chance it's the loved one, not just coincidence. And a
Yeah,
lot of things are coincidence, or just because these things exist. But
yeah,
when you get it in a situation that isn't normal, especially um, seeing a butterfly where I live right now would not be a normal thing. It's wet
yeah.
and it's cold. Um, but if it was mating season for the monarchs and you're in their field, well, yeah, you're probably going to see some. Um, and
Or seeing a ladybug
yeah,
out of the blue,
yeah,
because I don't see a lot of ladybugs right now because we're in the winter time.
right.
But I do see a lot of ladybugs in the spring and summer.
Hmm.
So when I see a ladybug in the winter time, it's unusual.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Actually, I don't see them very much anymore around here. A lot of the insects we used to get all the time, we don't see as much of.
Or
Um,
when objects fall.
yeah, and they aren't on the edge of anything.
Yes. Like a
Hmm.
book falls from a shelf, or like a glass falls and it's not near the edge of the counter.
Right.
Yeah.
And there weren't earthquakes.
No. Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. My house gets pretty active, actually, and it always has. My parents had it built. Nobody's died here. Um, when I was a kid, this whole area was just fields,
Yes.
right on the verge, right next to filbert orchards, and um, I've heard footsteps running down the street when nobody's around. I've lots of activity in the house. Um, even my security cameras one day picked up a disembodied voice saying hi. And I've heard it with my ears being usually outside, but inside there are a lot of voices
Yes.
often.
And
I go to bed and they throw a party and I say, hey, that's not fair.
you know, when you're sensitive, when you're a medium,
Hmm.
hear voices at
Yeah.
night too, because
Oh,
they
yeah.
come. And uh, for me, especially, I can see things more at nighttime.
Okay.
Yeah. Mhm. I encounter things more because, I'm getting ready for bed. I'm settling down.
Right.
Uh, and a lot of them know that it's a very quiet place, so they
Yeah.
come through a lot.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, well, Jackie, this has been fun. Do you have anything else you'd like to add
Uh,
before we kind of get ready to close off?
no, yeah,
Okay.
everything was great today.
Well, good. I'm glad. I'm very glad. And I appreciate you being on. It's been a fun conversation and it's
Okay,
nice to chat with you.
thank you for having me. I
Oh,
greatly
you're welcome. Thank you for being here. And are you going up to Port Gamble next year? Or
uh,
this year?
I'm hoping to. I have to see how the year goes.
Right.
I haven't really thought of it yet. But maybe I might go. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yes.
Well, hopefully we'll see you there. Um, and for all of you watching, thank you so much. I really appreciate all of you. And um, Paranormal Insights, Para Insights on Facebook is the way to get me. Um, Paranormal Insights, I think it is on Instagram, or Para Insights on Instagram are good ways to reach out to me. Um, and I'll see you all, I hope, in a couple of weeks. I think Barry Fitzgerald is on next time. I have to check my calendar, but I think he's my guest the third Saturday of this month. So take care, everybody. Have a great time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.